Hi guys, welcome to another video. If you're new around here, my name is Lucy.
And I'm Amy.
And we started this channel about over a year and a half ago now to document our journey to baby.
Yep.
Obviously there's a obvious problem with how we couldn't do that naturally. We had to go through the clinic, but and that turned out to be a bit, well, it's turned out to be a bit more challenging than we initially anticipated it to be. If you're interested in that, there's a longer playlist if you've got time.
Yeah, and if you've already watched them, then thanks so much for watching them. And
for all the support that we've had along the way.
And on the support note,
we've just hit 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah!
We're super happy about it. When we started the channel, I never expected that many people to be subscribed to us and watching us trying to have a baby.
No, it's cool. Thank you so much.
And our random adventures.
Yeah, thank you.
But we're really thankful. Thank you for sticking with us and thank you for all the support. It genuinely means a lot. Yes. Because you've been there through some of the roughest times.
Yeah. But talking about why we made the channel, the main reason was, like Lucy said, to document the journey, and to also, we really struggled in finding information, so we wanted to kind of use our experiences to maybe get some information out there.
Yeah.
So this video will kind of be from start to finish of an IVF cycle. We get tons of messages, mainly on Instagram but on YouTube as well, about the whole process. And many people will ask the same question of what is involved. Timescales,
how long does it take, what actually happens in an IVF cycle. So we wanted to sit down today and tell you. So you've got to remember when we're going through this video, everybody's IVF cycle is different. Different clinics do it differently, different people respond to different drugs differently. So we're going to talk about, I'm already waving my hands, we're going to talk about our experience, what we have had, what we've found, and the timescales that have been involved just in a general IVF cycle. So like this IVF cycle that we're starting now, what our protocol will be and the times.
Yeah.
We've done a long protocol, so it is going to be specifically about the long IVF protocol. There is a short protocol, which is pretty much exactly the same, except for you don't do the down regulation part. So just when we get to that part, just remember, if you're doing a short protocol, you will have to do that. Initially, you can look for your clinic, so a good way to look for your clinic will be on the HFEA website. You get a lot of information on there, recommendations, and you put in your postcode or the area that you're thinking of. And that is how we found our clinic. They'll give you like a star rating, and they'll give you the statistics as like how many live births they've had, how many multiples, things like that. Then obviously you'll phone up that clinic and speak to whoever that answers the phone, and they'll book you in for an appointment. That appointment consultation is your initial consultation. So at your initial consultation, both partners, I've got my notes, both partners do need to attend unless you're becoming a single parent. You will need things that happen in there. They'll need to do a full medical history on you, so it's just a lot of talking with you, the doctor, or the nurse, whoever it is that you're seeing. It will include previous fertility treatments as well. We had to talk about our previous IUIs, but it didn't make any difference in terms of like going forward with treatment. They just needed it for their documentation, I guess, and also to better tailor the cycle that you're going to do to you. So if you'd already tried something or had some form of exploratory procedure to see if there was anything wrong or whatever, they need the results to then guide what you're going to be doing as part of this IVF cycle. Okay. So then they will do just some basic observations like your heart rate, your blood pressure, and they will also do your height and weight. Lucy's favourite part of the appointment. Nobody likes getting on the scales, do they? No. Then you can discuss your treatment options. So like I said, like we'd done previously IUI, so they'll discuss whether you wanted to do IUIs, IVF, ICSI, is that how I say it? Yep. And Pixie and all sorts of other stuff that I actually don't really know about, so I'm not going to go into. But they'll discuss that, and you will probably have more of an idea because I'm sure you've researched yourself what treatment that you want to have. For us, really important,
we needed some sperm, so they talked about the sperm and discussed dates in which we would order our sperm and where from. They would also say whether there was a sperm bank attached to their clinic and which ones that we could order from if not. We chose to order from a sperm bank in America. One sec, let me turn my phone off.
So we ordered from a sperm bank in America.
And
just got it shipped to the clinic and they sorted the rest of it out. There's an entire other video on choosing our sperm donor and stuff, so I'll link that down below. Go check that out if you want.
Neither of us know what the process would be in terms of like man and woman. Like, I guess they would just discuss the male partner's sperm and they'll make a plan in terms of that, wouldn't they? Yeah,
I think they do a donation on the day of your egg collection. I don't know about previous testing on it though, so they'll talk about that. That's not our speciality.
It's really not.
We don't have any of the sperms.
So then you'll also do some screening. So the screening is done with blood tests and they are recommended by the HFEA. So it will be for HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, chlamydia and gonorrhea. And again, that doesn't mean that you can't have treatment, does it? It just guides like some maybe safety things that they have to do.
We don't have any of those things, so we don't know what the consequences would be.
But they do make a point of saying that it doesn't mean you can't have treatment, but you have to disclose it if you know, and it'll come up in blood tests anyway. They'll also check your AMH and your FSH at this appointment, which is
your AMH. I don't know what it stands for, can't remember. We'll pop it up on the screen.
Yep.
It's basically, it gives you an indication as to how many eggs you've got. It's your egg reserve. So if you've got a low number, there's not many eggs left. If you've got a high number, there's loads of eggs, potentially too many eggs, and they'll give you like the range as to what they'd like you to be in between.
Yeah.
But they will tailor your treatment based on what your number is.
Yeah. Cool.
So FSH is the follicle stimulating hormone?
Yes.
Is that what we said?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And see how many of that you've got.
Yeah.
Naturally, as part of the cycle.
So
on a certain day.
Alright, sure now. These screening tests need to be within 3 months of the start of your IVF cycle. However, if you have previously done an egg collection, the results last for 2 years. Have no idea why that is.
No. So we don't have to repeat our screening now, which is great.
That's the rules. I'm guessing because it would delay treatment every time. But yeah, that's how it is anyway. And this appointment is the best time for you to ask as many questions as you possibly can, because you are going to have a million of them beforehand. Write them all down and just
write down the answers.
Write down the answers. I got in trouble because she thought I was texting. I wasn't. I was typing on my notes. But just whack all your questions out, and you will probably ask the same questions in the future.
There's
but
no
it
such
doesn't
thing
matter.
as a silly question.
It really isn't. That is basically it for your initial consultation from our experience. And Lucy is going to probably take it from here.
What, for the rest of it?
3 to 4 weeks later.
Give me the notes. Okay, so after your initial consultation, our clinic offers what is called a TIA appointment. So that is a treatment information appointment.
Yeah.
And you basically talk about your treatment. So the doctor will have given yourself like a treatment package. You will have decided whether you're going to do a long protocol, a short protocol, what medication he thinks is best for you. So that is your appointment where you sit down with a nurse, you talk about everything, you again ask questions which will probably come up again after your first appointment. But yeah, again, just ask all your questions. It's so important. At this appointment, you're taught how to do the injections. So with IVF, a lot of the medication is done by injection. It's usually a subcut needle, so it goes into, you can explain this one.
It goes into your fat.
So it's only a little needle. It doesn't really hurt. It's not as bad as it sounds when you first hear that you've got to inject yourself. Promise you. I've done a lot of them now.
Yeah.
But they will teach you how to do and make up all of your injections, and they will show you and demonstrate with an actual needle and not on you in like a little rubbery thing.
Yeah.
Obviously with anything that you're doing, there's a lot of legal stuff that you need to do. You will sign so many forms in this appointment that it'll blow your mind. I couldn't believe it.
No, there was tons of them, and I would sign them and Lucy would sign them. And there's things that you would never even think about that you're signing for.
So it's
just
things
make
like
sure you
if
read
I
them.
die, if she dies, who uses the eggs, the embryos, whatever.
Yeah. Or what
All
happens
sorts of
to them.
stuff. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But your hand will be tied at the end of it, basically. And finally, you'll go through a timeline as to what your treatment cycle will be. They will give you provisional dates for things like scans, a provisional date for your egg collection, and a provisional, well, they can't really tell you transfer date, but they will say between the dates that what they think that will be, depending on when your egg collection will be. So then that comes in a nice little table format, and it's really handy to have. Next up,
you can continue with this because it's in your handwriting and I can't read it.
Next up, you have a load of scans and monitoring. So as I said, we've done the long protocol, which basically means that you do something called down regulation. Down regulation means you do injections of buserelin, which, let me see, I wrote down exactly what it does. It makes your ovaries temporarily inactive, and that is for easier management of treatment during your stimulation. Basically, it makes you respond better to the stims.
Yeah. Because it's shutting them off. It's basically giving your ovaries a rest.
It's restarting them, yeah. So then when they get the follicle stimulating hormone again in the stims, they go, ooh!
Yeah.
And they make all the eggs.
Yeah. Which is what we want. We want all the eggs. Good eggs.
Exactly. So on the cycle that you want to start on cycle day 1, you will give the clinic a call and they will book you in on cycle day 20. Cycle day means like the day of your period, so cycle day 1 is the first day of your period. Cycle day 20 obviously is 20 days later. On our day 20 we went in for a cyst, which is a scan to make sure there's nothing going on in your womb that there shouldn't be, so there's no polyps, fibroids, scar tissue, anything like that. And we had what's called the endometrial scratch,
Slash
propel, which is just like obviously a little scratch in your endometrium, and it's apparently meant to
release hormones which encourage
they
the
make
embryo.
it more receptive to implantation. We did another video on that, so if you want to hear more about that and our experience, because we did that last week.
Lucy will put it here. Here.
I'll put it in the probably in the description. So we did that, and then on that day they say start your down regulation injections. So that is 1 injection a day. I did them for 2 weeks, and I think that's pretty standard. After about a week to 10 days after you've started them, you will have another bleed. So that will be cycle day 1 of the cycle that you're going to be doing your
And
IVF
this is
on.
something we want cycle day 1.
Yes.
There's a lot of confusion sometimes when people obviously like following journeys and we say cycle day 1.
Oh, we've got our period and we're happy about it. People are, what?
They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, no, we want this period. This is the one we want, okay? You want this.
My cycle day 1 was yesterday.
Yes.
So we're good and going.
She's bleeding.
Yeah.
She had period pains. It did my head in.
I did my head in as well. So when you're doing your down regulation, 2 weeks of it, at the end of it they'll do a scan to make sure that it's worked, so that your ovaries are nice and quiet, your line is nice and thin. And from there, they will give you the go-ahead to start on your stims, where you're injecting your follicle stimulating hormone, which takes many different brands or forms that they may give you. We've had Menopure. What have we had?
Oh my gosh, we've had so much. I don't
We're
even know
having
anymore.
Gonalef this time, is that right?
Yeah.
We've had so many. But again, it will depend on what your doctor wants you to have. Again, it's a subcut injection, really easy. They'll have shown you how to do it. Don't worry about it. While you're doing your stims, you'll carry on with your down regulation injections. So you'll be doing 2 injections a day at the same time. So it's not like really inconvenient. I do mine at 7 o'clock in the evening every day.
It just makes it, it's quite nice. We can still go out for the day. We don't have to worry about it. Being back for 7 o'clock is not a big issue for us.
And it's alright for work, get home in the evening, do the injection. It's really important that you do it around the same time every day, and your clinic will tell you about this. While you're doing your stims, you'll have a load of scans at the clinic. You'll be there like numerous times a week. And in those scans is...
Wait, can I just say, some people choose not to tell their work, obviously for many reasons, but it's going to be really difficult getting all this time off work. So Lucy's told her work, and they're really supportive.
Yeah, they're very good with me.
And they give her all this time off to go to these appointments, which make a huge difference because you have quite a lot of stress in an IVF cycle anyway. I just recommend that if you have somebody at work who's like a manager or something that you can speak to, just tell them, because having the stress of trying to make up appointments or make up where you're going is just too much. It's extra, right? Like, you don't need it.
Obviously, it depends on your circumstance. You know what's best for you. But that's
something to think about.
I can't imagine I can't imagine what it would be like if they didn't know why I was out of office every other day. But yeah, again, it's different for everybody. So yeah, at your scans, they will. It's an internal scan, as all of these scans are. So
I stand at the top end and support her.
we call it we call her Wanda.
Yes.
Many people call her Wanda.
I've drank all the coffee, by the way.
Great. Thank you. It's because I'm doing all the talking.
Continue.
So in these scans, they'll look at your ovaries, they'll look at your lining, they'll see how many follicles you've got, how big they are, they'll measure how thick your lining is, so when it's getting thick enough for implantation, then obviously it's great. But look, every time they'll carry on scanning you, each appointment, and when you are ready, so you've got some nice follicles, some big juicy follicles, and you've got a nice thick endometrium, they'll give you what's called a trigger shot. The trigger shot is a HCG hormone. It's another injection, obviously, shot, and that helps to mature your eggs. It's what you do before your egg collection. So after you've done this egg collection, they will give you a specific time to do it, which is probably the most important injection you will do, because they time your egg collection with what time you do your trigger shot. And you don't want to get to egg collection and them not be ready, because that will pretty much mess everything up. So make sure you're doing your trigger shot when they tell you to do it.
Yeah. And it's your last injection.
And it's your last injection.
Yes.
Did I say your egg collection will be 36 hours later?
Don't know, but it will be.
36 hours later. Approximately. Obviously, it's always approximately.
And I'll take over so you can hear my voice for a little bit more. Here, have the dregs of a cold coffee.
Thank you.
So, for your egg collection, they will advise you to be nil by mouth or fasting.
Fasting?
Fasting, I don't face of them. So they'll tell you a time to not have any food or drink from, and it's just because you'll be sedated for the egg collection. So you won't be. Most places here in the UK don't give you a general anaesthetic. They do just sedate you, which they give you basically a sedation medication, which will go in through a cannula either in your hand or your arm. So you will have a needle to put a cannula in, but it's not a needle that stays in your arm. It's just a little bit of plastic, okay?
Can you tell she's a nurse?
That's what I say to the children, it's not a needle. So then, for your egg collection as well, they'll advise you not to wear any perfumed soaps or like any perfume, and this is because the fumes that come off of this can damage your eggs. But they do want you to wash in that morning, don't they? So
yeah, they said it's important.
You just have like a shower with like water.
With water, or there's all these soaps now with like natural soaps and stuff, which we've obviously invested in.
Yeah.
We've now got natural shampoo, conditioner and soap. Sorry, I digress.
So your egg collection will last about 30 minutes. So we both went into a room together where Lucy has her observations done, and then she will go into the egg collection room. Your partner is not allowed into the egg collection room, and it is because you're sedated, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No, when we say sedated, it's pretty much the same as a general anaesthetic. The only difference is you don't have a tube down your throat. You will be out of it. You will have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You will not feel a thing.
No. And that is what lasts about 30 minutes.
It's great.
But you can expect to be at your clinic for a few hours, and that's because you come out of your egg collection room and you go back into your recovery, and you wake up and come around a little bit, you're a bit groggy maybe afterwards, tired, and they will
Give you tea and biscuits.
Give you tea and biscuits. That is in capitals on our notes, because that is Lucy's very important point. She was so happy with her tea and biscuits. They give you that, okay? You're gonna get it again.
Look at me.
You'll also be seen by, you'll have your observations done by the nurse, and they'll monitor you and check that you're okay, and then you'll be seen by the embryologist and the consultant. Both of these people came to see us separately, and they gave information about the eggs that were collected. So they gave information of how many were collected. On our last cycle we did donate, so they told us how many we kept and how many we donated. They don't tell you things like maturity or anything like that at this point, because they can't tell. They literally just extract,
suck them out your follicles
and
put them in a dish.
And they will also tell you the quality of the sperm if you ask. We didn't ask, I don't think, so they didn't tell us, but yeah, if you ask they will tell you the quality of the sperm.
I would it.
And then you'll go home. So when you go home you'll need to have somebody with you. So I had to stay with Luce for about 24 hours, so I booked my next day off work, and that is just, and you have to have somebody to drive you home, and that is just because of the sedation. Some people can react to it, or you're just going to be very tired, and it's just to make sure you're okay. But
babysitting me.
I don't know if I did a very good job. I don't really remember. So over the next coming days, so on
yeah, you're going. You were saying what I was about to.
On the day of egg collection, they will mix the sperm and the egg if you're doing IVF. If you're doing ICSI, they will inject your sperm into your egg. Got that right.
Where else are they going to inject it?
And yeah, so this is classed as day 0, I think I just said.
Yeah.
They don't tell you much on that day, but then you'll get a phone call on day 1. And on
the day after egg collection.
1, they will tell you how many of your eggs were mature and fertilised. Day 2... This
is a very stressful period. Yeah. I warn you. The anxiety during this is probably worse than the anxiety during stims.
Day 2 and 3, you'll also get updates on how your embryos are developing. So they will tell you how many cells there are, and they'll tell you like the quality of them. If any have not progressed as you'd have hoped, they'll just let you know that how many you have left.
Yeah.
It is to be expected that you will get a decrease throughout the time, so don't beat yourself up about it, okay? Like it's expected for some of them to drop off. Don't have really, like...
Don't have unrealistic expectations.
Which is difficult because we all do. So the embryologist will assess which is the best day to do the embryo transfer. This is usually done between either on day 2, day 3 or day 5, right?
That's how they do it at our clinic. It may be different at others. I don't know.
I have heard people have a day 6 transfer.
Oh, really?
I've never heard anyone have a different day, but if you have, then let us know, because that'd be really interesting, and if you could let us know why, that'd be really interesting as well. And that is usually based on the quality and the quantity of embryos that you've got, and if you've said that you want to have 2 put back and you only have 2, then there's not really much point waiting longer when they can both go back where they came from.
Yeah, exactly.
They go home.
The embryologists are very, very knowledgeable. Yeah. They're so impressive.
Yeah,
listen to their advice. They know what they're doing. This is their day job.
You don't we don't get a call on day 4, because we was told that there's not much point in disturbing the embryo. It's best to just let them grow and be on their own and be in the incubator, because they can't tell anything on day 4.
I think they're called a morial. I don't know what they're called. I don't know.
And stop.
I don't know why I tried to say
it. Would you like to do transfer day, babe, or should I?
No, you do transfer day.
Are you sure?
On transfer day, if you've ever had an IUI, it's very similar to an IUI process. It's really simple. Some people, if you've not had an IUI, they relate it to being similar to a cervical smear. Basically what they do, you go with a full bladder, which is always really comfortable. It's not, it's awful. But you have to have a full bladder, which basically lifts your uterus to make it easier for them to transfer. They'll put a catheter through your cervix, and they will zip.
Whilst you lay on the thing like this.
And they will zip an embryo right into your uterus. They will check that it's there. The embryologist will then like flush the tube in the lab to make sure there's no embryo still in there. The embryo will definitely be in your uterus.
During this time, you can watch it on the, well, we was able to watch it on the screen as well, and our doctor did show us the embryo.
That was cool.
Inside of Lucy on the screen, which was really nice.
Yeah. And before they transferred it, we got to see the embryo under the microscope. So the embryologist put it on a big screen in the room so we could see the embryo before it was transferred. That was cool. On this day, you'll also, well, we got a picture of the embryo to take home with us.
You want to see? Can we show them? You can carry on talking.
You get a picture of your embryo, and they will also tell you when you can take a pregnancy test. This is usually around 2 weeks after your egg collection, but again, they will give you a date. They'll let you know when to test. They'll say whether to do a home pregnancy test, whether they want you to come into the clinic for a blood test. Different clinics are different. Our personal clinic want us to do a test at home and then call them and let them know. And then if they determine that they want to do a blood test, they'll do a blood test. Obviously, you've got a full bladder for your transfer. One question that we asked and that we were very made aware of. It's completely fine to wee after you've had your embryo transfer.
You cannot wee out an embryo.
It is impossible to wee out an embryo. You've still got the fear, but it is impossible. Show the picture.
Okay, this was our embryo. It was Baby Blast.
Baby Blast.
Baby Blast didn't stick around. But that's another story.
Watch the playlist if you want to see what happened. It was a rough time. This is a long video.
Yeah, it is. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope
it's been informative.
It made sense and it was informative, yeah.
And that we didn't waffle too much.
Or digress too much.
Well, it wouldn't be a video of ours if we didn't digress a little bit.
Yeah. But no, if you have any questions or you want us to clear anything up that we've said, or you think we've said something wrong or yours was different, then please comment in the down below, and people let us know, and people that are reading the comments as well. So many people watch the videos and then comment to us on Instagram. They don't leave comments on YouTube, so people are reading the comments and they say how helpful they find some of them from people's experiences.
It's great.
Yeah, definitely stories. Please share it, because
if you're comfortable to.
Yeah, of course. And it's just, I think it's really good to raise awareness on it and educate people on it, because there's not actually a lot out there.
Information wise.
Yeah.
There's not a lot out there. In the stars.
Oh, she's such a loser. But thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for all your support, and we really, really do appreciate it. And leave a like rating, subscribe, and stick with us to find out what happens on this next IVF cycle, because we're feeling super hopeful and it's gonna work, and we're gonna be mummies, right?
Soon.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.